Checking in with Dr. Joe Schwarz. We do this every Tuesday afternoon, a little earlier today. And Dr. Joe, before we get into it, I know you want to talk about LSD and pizza today, and not in the same sentence. I have two questions to ask you. I've been spending far too much time on social media these days. So number one, some guy comes on and tells me that, you know what you're eating for breakfast is wrong. You shouldn't be eating any carbs at all. What you should be eating, focusing on for breakfast, are proteins and fats. In other words, if you're having toast, or if you're having, some people might have, Eggos, these are bad ideas. You should be eating your fats and proteins, get them in that breakfast. Does that make any sense to you?
No, but I can tell you that you can find a study to back up virtually every comment that is out there on TikTok or on Instagram. There are thousands and thousands of studies published on food and nutrition. Most of them are very, very poor quality. And, of course, what we look for is consensus. You want to take a look to see, what the majority of scientists say. And there's just no miracle here. There are no special diets, that for breakfast. There is evidence for eating a lot of berries, yes, and I do that. I can tell you what I eat for breakfast, and it is my opinion, but it is forged on, having followed the scientific literature for 50 years. And so I eat berries with yogurt, and yogurt that doesn't have any sugar added to it.
Oh, okay.
And I top it off with some sliced bananas and chia seeds and flax seeds. And I have toast with avocado on it and coffee. That's my breakfast every day. And, I can support that with some scientific studies.
All right, and you're still alive and almost 100 years old, so it must be working.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Question number two, and we'll move on. Eggs. Are we okay with eggs now or not?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, and that is something that has been, now studied to death. And there's nothing wrong with eating eggs. They're a very good source of protein. Okay. Yes, the egg yolk does contain cholesterol, but that doesn't make your blood cholesterol rise. It's the wrong kind of fats, like trans fats, that make your blood cholesterol rise. So
eat your eggs.
I have no problem.
Last one again. Too much social media for me. All of a sudden, broccoli is verboten. Listen to this.
Broccoli is bull. Broccoli is part of the Brassica family of plants. This family of plants contains compounds like isothiocyanate, which prevent the absorption of iodine in your thyroid, which leads to lower levels of thyroid hormones, low energy, weight gain, fatigue, malaise. Broccoli is also a common cause of gas, bloating, GI issues.
Joe, broccoli, really?
Yeah. Am I allowed to use the word idiot on this show?
Yes, you are.
Well, because that would apply to whoever said that.
Okay.
In fact, the Brassica vegetables are highly touted for their beneficial components. And they do contain a bunch of chemicals called glucosinolates, of which sulforaphane is one. When you chew broccoli, it releases sulforaphane into your system, and that has been shown in clinical trials and in animal trials to have an anti-cancer effect. So any suggestion that there's anything wrong with eating broccoli comes from some sort of nutritional numbskull who doesn't have any idea what they're talking about.
Excellent. Thank you. So we've cleared the idiot portion of the show, so that's why you shouldn't take everything you see on the internet at face value. Now, let's move on to LSD, Joe. What's the story here?
Yeah, LSD, one of the most interesting molecules, that has ever come our way in terms of pharmaceuticals. And it was first made in the early 1940s by Albert Hofmann at the Sandoz company in Switzerland. And famously, in 1943, he took some himself after accidentally having ingested some from his fingers after he had synthesized the molecule. He had this hallucinogenic effect, and then he decided to give it a shot and really try it. And that became known as Bicycle Day, because on that day he went home by bicycle, and on that bicycle trip he had the world's first hallucinogenic experience with LSD. And that started research into LSD as a drug. But there were many obstacles, and nobody ever found any proper use for it, aside, of course, from undercurrent use as a hallucinogen. The Beatles, for example, popularized it, right? Supposedly,
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, right?
Diamonds, yeah. But now there's some new evidence, and this time a proper study is being done by a company, pharmaceutical company, with LSD on anxiety disorders. And what they have found is that just a single dose of LSD under a controlled condition can relieve anxiety. And today, obviously, this is a big issue because there are all kinds of people with anxiety. And, we'll see more of this as the American election approaches, more and more anxiety. So we may be looking at LSD to keep us from that sort of anxiety. And according to this study, just one intake of LSD, a very, very small dose, we're talking about micrograms, it will cause effects like a hallucination, but on the day that you take it. But for weeks after, people say in this clinical trial that they are much, much less anxious and less depressed. So it's very interesting. Of course, this is what we call a phase 2 trial, which has a limited number of subjects. So we're going to have to see phase 3 trials, which involve hundreds of subjects, and we'll see where it goes. But this, since the early 1940s, is the first time that a proper pharmaceutical company has shown a potential benefit for LSD. So it's pretty interesting.
There you go. We're going to have to leave pizza until next week, Joe, okay?
All right.
We'll do it then.
Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Joe Schwarz. Yes, sir.
Miraculous pizza.
That's right. I'm sorry. Miraculous pizza, not just general, regular, ordinary pizza. We'll explain next week. Dr. Joe Schwarz, host of the Dr. Joe Show, which airs, by the way, 3 o'clock Sunday afternoons here on CJAD. And he's also director of the McGill Office for Science and Society, and called that broccoli guy as being an idiot.